Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. The talk you're going to hear is when they try to interpret the Bible the second time. The 1914 generation was gone. And I remember placing the magazines of these old people, brothers and sisters, that had their face, their soul put in this magazine, the front cover. Well, the reason I say soul, they put the faith. They wanted to have their picture taken to show the world that they was going to still be alive. They was going to see the end of destruction of Satan the devil and make it into paradise. That's the reason they all put the faith in Watchtower and had their picture taken. That generation of those good people died in this false religion. They died putting faith in Watchtower's teaching. And now they changed the generation to the wicked people that Christ was supposedly was talking about. No. Watchtower, you got it wrong again. Then you change it to the overlap generation. So I want y'all to hear this, and then we'll take it from there.
Notice what qualified that? It said if we had our senses, spiritually, if we were keeping our senses, we would have on this breastplate of faith. And that's very interesting because faith is a quality that moves us to action. In fact, that's how we can tell if we have faith, really, is because what we know or what we understand, what we believe, will move us in a certain direction. It's not a case of, well, I believe. It's not an idea, but it's something that moves us forward. Faith is an active quality. So in other words, he was saying that those who would gain salvation are ones that would have their senses so that what they know about the truth would be moving them to action. That's really it. And so that's the way it is for us, brothers, that if we are keeping our senses, it's more than just knowing something about the truth. Now, if you just turn back to Matthew chapter 24 and verse 34, you'll see another example that Jesus gives us as to how we might just test this out. In Matthew chapter 24, of course, he's talking about the time of the end. And in verse 34, he makes an interesting statement here. He says, "Truly I say to you, that this generation will by no means pass away until all these things occur." Okay, confession time. How many of you have ever said to somebody, you see, the end can't be very long, because those who saw the start of 1914, the trouble in 1914, that generation will not pass away until all these things occur.
I want to make a point. When Christ made that statement, he was looking at people at a certain age period. Watchtower was saying that people that was born after 15 years, they kept moving the date 15, 13, 12, 10, 9. Now in 1914, people was born. Excuse me, how would you know by seeing the signs of the last day, food shortages, earthquake, pestilence? You are a newborn baby. Newborn baby born in 1914. How would you know about those things? I'll let you think on that. Let's continue.
I did. Of course we did. Because that's the way we saw it, didn't we? Until, of course, November 1995. And then we had opportunity to realize in each case where Jesus used the word generation.
Yeah, 1995. And people was born in 1914. Wouldn't that put them dead? Gone?
He always meant the same thing when he said that. And so he was talking about the wicked generation who may have seen the sign but paid no attention to it. So it wasn't the anointed of Jehovah who saw the things happening.
And the problem was, to talk about the wicked generation, wouldn't they be born on 1914? Wouldn't they be dead and gone too? Just like the anointed Jehovah Witnesses was born on 1914, dead and gone. Maybe people would start thinking, wait, something here doesn't click.
Back in 1914, who would not pass off the scene. So there's some adjustment there. Now, you see, if we're awake to that fact, we may have read the Watchtower, but you see, have we kept our senses about that? Because it seems in some cases what has happened is they've seen that written in the Watchtower and they've said, well, look at, there you go. Who knows when the end's going to be now? Could be a long time in coming. Could be way down the line. And what begins to happen if we develop that thinking? Well, we start to replace the urgency of the time with other things. And we begin to get distracted. And you know, that's happened with some brothers. It has. And so we have...
Yeah, the distraction was they woke up and realized Watchtower deliberately misquote the scriptures, misinterpret true history of when Jerusalem was destroyed. It was destroyed in 587, not 607. So, yes, Jehovah's Witnesses was putting too much faith in Watchtower's false teaching. Way too much faith. Till the failure of that generation made a bunch of them woke up and realized. And also about the failure of 1975. That would make Watchtower a false prophet. People, that's the reason why we got out. That's the reason we lost faith in this religion. Because we realize if we continue putting faith in this organization, we will lose the true meaning of life and gain that everlasting life we've been looking for in this religion. We'll never get it because we put too much faith in the governing body and Watchtower's false teaching.
Have to be careful. You see, there's one thing about being awake, knowing that we're living in the last days, but there's another thing about keeping our senses, and our senses mean that we have to have a sense of urgency about the time we're living in. And it's of interest to note, remember that at our circuit assembly there was a nice illustration that helped us to see how Jehovah's Day is like waiting for a baby. Remember that? You see, the wife's going to have a baby, so what you do is you get the nursery all ready, you know, you paint the walls and put up some wallpaper, and maybe you put in some new carpet, and you get somebody to build you a beautiful new crib or a cradle, and you get everything just perfect. And then the due date comes, and no baby. And a week goes by, still no baby. 2 weeks go by, and so you say, that's it. You might as well tear this room apart.
See, this is the stories they use is out of proportion. One, you put your time and money to build this crib, build this room for your newborn to be in this room, and gradually that could be their room permanently. And you're going to tear it down because the baby didn't come that same day. and week go by, that baby didn't come when you're supposed to. But that's not in the Bible. Of course a baby's going to come when it comes. Not when a doctor thinks it's going to be coming on a certain date. They just give you a borderline. But when Christ said his own words, this generation will not pass away, he was talking about the Jews, not Jehovah's Witnesses, because they are not God's chosen people. Then the Bible proves they are not God's chosen people. Because Christ and other disciples, even Paul, mentioned that Christ did not reject the Jews. So that's the generation Christ was talking about, not Jehovah's Witnesses. So that's the failure of not interpreting the Bible the way it's supposed to be, Jehovah's Witnesses. Let's continue.
Obviously, this baby's not coming. But you know what? That baby's coming. There isn't anything that you can do to stop it. It is coming. And that's like Jehovah's Day. You see, Jehovah's Day, brothers, that baby's coming. There isn't a thing that you can do to stop it. And it hasn't changed one bit. Jehovah's timetable has not altered one iota. In fact, if you just go down 2 verses from that verse 34, you'll notice in verse 36, sometimes we forget that this verse was there all the time.
Sometimes they forget. We're supposed to be ignorant. We're supposed to put faith into Watchtower's teaching. And they forget the main scripture that is in the Bible. Because Jehovah's Witnesses overlooked it because they are reading the scriptures, what Watchtowers want them to hear, through these stupid talks all over the kingdom halls, circuit assemblies. And they forget the scripture was in the Bible.
It said, concerning that day and hour, nobody knows, neither the angels of the heavens nor the Son, but only the Father. And so we're not thinking correctly when we try to say, well, the generation is 70, 80 years, therefore, when you get to that line, that's it, Jehovah's got to do something. His timetable was already set. We don't know. And so, brothers, don't allow that.
Yeah. They don't know. So you got three things is wrong. You got your 1914, people was born on 1914 generation died. You got the generation of the wicked people, which would be the same age of the ones who died from the first prophecy of Watchtower. So that would make the second evil generation who died the same year, almost like of the first one. And now they got the overcrap generation. People, when you start putting faith in religion and not in the Bible, then you are doomed. I know, I was in this doom religion. The doom prophecies, the doom lies. That's the reason I got out and used the Bible by itself and found the real truth. And I know more about the real truth than the governing body themselves. At least I'm not going back to the false religion, but they are still preaching it. Thank you, and have a nice day, and get out.